Marvel.
What are you gonna say? Are you going to over-analyzing why Marvel movie was bad recently? Even though our recent movie is kinda bad, we're still the best movie franchise ever, and still better than DC.
Shh. Finally, the time has come for Marvel to be officially called suck. With the Guardian of the Galaxy Holiday Special marks the end of Phase 4 of the MCU, Marvel Phase 4 has been underperforming to say the least. And yes, they have a holiday special. We don't need to talk about that, okay? Taking a quick glance at rating website and social media in general, it is clear that I'm not the only one who disappointed with Marvel Phase 4. But why? Why? How come the so-called the best cinematic universe with the most loyal fan base is suck? Is it because there is no more Iron Man? Is it because Captain America is enjoying his retirement? Or is it because Groot has grown into a teenage hood without us even realizing it? They grew up so fast. Let's start with the most obvious problem with the MCU right now. They are simply farming views. There's just way too many content to watch. Do you remember when we used to get hype every time Marvel announced a new movie every 6 months or so? Well, say no more. With Marvel Phase 4, you're gonna get 7 movies, 9 series, and 2 special episodes in just 2 years. Say goodbye to waiting for your next superhero movie, because our Phase 4 will make you so immersed in our cinematic universe that you won't have time to watch our movie. Be sure to watch all of our content so you won't get confused with the Phase 5.
This is purely a journalistic point of view. Nothing more has been said in this video other than that of which has been reported by various media sources and backed up with sources seen at the end of this video.
Just think about it. The first 3 phases of the MCU, aka the Infinity Saga, runs for roughly 50 hours total across 23 movies. For comparison, just Phase 4 alone, you are going to have more than 60 hours of content. With all of those movies and series, at least some of them are really good, right? Well, maybe not. You might say that I'm just complaining at this point, and all I gotta do is just skip on some that I'm not interested in. Or smarty pants, let's imagine I skip on some of Marvel series. Let's say this one, and this because of the horrendous rating. And then the next Avengers movie came in, and then there's this person, this girl, and wait, Loki is a woman all this time?
Who are you?
Bottom line is, you're gonna be confused. And you going to watch every single movie and series that Marvel has. And talking about Marvel series, there are a lot of new characters that introduced through the series, such as Marvel, She-Hulk, Moon Knight, and Monica Rambeau, aka the Captainmarvel. Not that Captainmarvel, but the other one. You see, all of these characters are about to be Avengers, but let me tell you something.
They suck.
Back then, we had Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and the Hulk. These were the OG Avengers, and they were iconic with a proper character introduction, right? But in Phase 4, who do we have? We still have Hulk, Spider-Man, Thor, but then who else? Falcon, the Winter Soldier, and Hawkeye.
Yeah, they were fine.
But when you look up Avengers, Iron Man and Captain America was always on the front line. They are the leader of the Avengers. I don't blame Marvel to make this character gone. Their departure was essential. But what I want to say is you need to acknowledge that all of your new character is not as iconic as Captain America and Iron Man. So you have to put more effort and care into why they become a superhero. You can't just make them fun a bracelet that somehow gave them superpower. And talking about character, Marvel just shoving social narrative down your throat, especially when it comes to their unlikable and unrelatable series of female leads. Now, before you cancel me, given the fact that I'm being identified as a male, I don't have the capacity to comment or criticizing this subject, so you can check Sydney Watson's video called The Failure of Feminist Hollywood. To sum it up, Marvel's female leads, for example She-Hulk, is such a horrible lead that she's so unrealistic, toxic, unrelatable, and unlikable.
I'm great at controlling my anger. I do it all the time. But when I'm catcalled in the street, when incompetent men explain my own area of expertise to me.
The bottom line is you can't hide terrible writing with a supposedly good intention. And now, cameo. Don't get me wrong, cameos can be a great way to pay tribute to the past characters and add some fun Easter egg for the fan. but in Phase 4, it feels like Marvel is overusing them to the point where it's predictable and annoying. For example, in the 5th episode of WandaVision, we had a cameo of Pietro Maximoff aka the Quicksilver. Why was he there? Cause it's dope. Another one was the appearance of Bruce Banner, Wong, and Trevor Slattery that really did nothing to the story. The movie was already introducing a new character, and the appearance of this character felt like it was just thrown in for the sake of, hey guys, look, this character is important because he's actually live in the same universe as this guy, so he might be included in the Avengers, so check his movie out. It should be noted that cameos have always been part of the MCU. The first Ironman flicks the end with an appearance of Nick Fury, and this the Avengers. But in Phase 4, cameos is just a fan service, and you know it's around the corner. I'm not saying that cameos should be abolished entirely, but Marvel need to show far more restraint. And do you know what else been restraining? It's their VFX quality. Crazy to think that a movie that came out 15 years ago looked 1,000 times better than their VFX now. Look at this, it looks like a cutscene from a PS2 game. And don't forget about the countless cheesy green screen. This problem extends beyond the screen as well. Last year, there was a drama around the VFX community after one VFX artist spoke up about the experience working with Marvel. It was reported by multiple outlets that Marvel's treatment of its visual effect artists is downright awful. VFX artists allegedly experience long hours, overly demanding tasks, and unrealistic deadlines. One VFX artist speaking to Vulture claims that his coworker broke down and started crying due to the pressure of working on MCU's projects. It's crazy to think that one of the biggest and most lucrative movie franchises in the world can afford to properly build a healthy work environment. Alright, let's stop being sad for a moment. You know what can cheer you up? Yes, the top quality of Marvel humor.
What a classic Thor adventure!
Don't get me wrong, I love a good joke just as much as the next guy, but the humor in Phase 4 just feels a bit forced. It's like they're trying too hard to be funny when they aren't supposed to be funny. Yes, I know, humor is a subjective thing. While others have praised the humor as a key part of what makes the Marvel movie and comics so enjoyable and entertaining, sometimes when you get bombarded with these cheesy jokes left and right, it feels like I'm watching an episode of Friends rather than a superhero movie. But again, it's all personal preference. And you know what else is personal preference? The story. Now, for someone who have watched Marvel movies since he was a kid, recent Marvel movie is just unexciting. You see, Phase 1 to 3 was a great story-driven movie. Every single character became the way they are through a compelling story arc. Their villain, Thanos, is also interesting. He became a villain for a reason that makes sense, not just because he has a broken home or something like that. And they fought on the Avengers Endgame for a reason. Yes, Marvel Phase 4 was made to de-escalate the story. After the Endgame, they have to go back to ground zero with their story. In their comic book, it's called Back to Basic. But the problem with Marvel is that it seems like they don't want to de-escalate their story. They still have this go big mentality with some heroes being put together in a movie just because it looks cool. You know, we are the cinematic universe, so we have to have a crossover, right? The other issue is that Phase 4 storytelling is felt overly familiar and safe. Many of the movies and shows have followed a similar formula, with a new hero being introduced, facing a new villain, and then finally kick their ass. While this is the formula of a superhero movie, it started to feel stale and repetitive. James Cameron called it the Avengers fatigue, and you can see it started to become a reality. With a plot that are as predictable as it gets, good guys win, bad guys lose, and ridiculous amount of bad CGI, combined with some of the most bland one-dimensional character ever, even legendary filmmaker Martin Scorsese criticized the MCU, comparing it to a theme park and arguing that it lacks the emotional and psychological depth that characterized true cinema. The MCU was once an imaginative universe full of excitement, it has now become a source of low-quality entertainment that relies on simplistic storytelling, identity politics, representation, and diversity, rather than a character depth and storytelling. While diversity and representation are important, when you're pushing political agenda as the sole focus of a movie, the result is something that I won't even bother to describe. Everything that leads up to the Avengers Endgame succeed because they prioritize storytelling and character development. Unfortunately, with Disney's identity on making profits slowly taking over, the MCU is starting to move away from taking risks and creating quality films, and it's starting to become a problem. If the franchise still pushing this political drama and low quality content, DC fanboy might finally have a chance to trash talk the Marvel fanboy.